Welcome in, collective. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me today on Friday. I hope your Friday's going well. Welcome to your daily inspiration and affirmations on Unmasked Universe, where we unmask the universe that lives inside of you. Okay, so yesterday was, a bit of a doozy for the collective. So let's put some energy into our today's reading. I'm hoping that, today's energy has shifted a bit, that maybe we're preparing ourselves for a more restful time over the weekend, but I guess we'll have to see what comes through the cards. Now, I want you to remember because these are general collective readings, they are not one-to-one personal readings, that the energy that sometimes comes out is more specific for some people and it may not resonate for you at that time. So if it doesn't resonate for you, there may be something later on in the message, or this may not be your message. Okay, so don't force anything to fit. If it doesn't fit your situation at all, then today is not your message. You may receive something more tomorrow. Maybe just the affirmations are for you. So just want to make mention of that. We're going to start with our energy for the day. So, spirit guides and ancestors, what is the collective energy for Friday, January 24th, please? What is the collective energy for Friday, January 24th? Oh, there we go. I have a bunch of fuzzy things floating around in my room. I have a fuzzy blanket and I accidentally put it on upside down on the side that seems to be releasing fuzz into the air. So, oh, interesting. Okay, so recently we've had these two coming out. It wasn't yesterday's reading, but the day before. That would be Wednesday. So we have the Temple Path, and then we have adjacent opportunities or possibilities, I guess that it says on this card. I always think of opportunities, so okay. So I get the feeling like some of you have chosen the path and are looking for the opportunities now, the possibilities that await you in the future. So before I just totally go with that thought, let's see how it plays out, okay? Shall we? All right, spirit guides, ancestors, what are the affirmations that are going to support the collective most today for Friday, January 24th? What are the affirmations that are going to support the collective the most today? What? Oh, it landed like this on me. Okay, we're gonna flip. Oh, then it went off my bed. Hold on a second here. Okay. Okay, we got this card yesterday. So, what are the affirmations that are going to support the collective the most today? We're a little bit blurry here. Let's readjust, shall we? Okay, then. Done and done. All right, what are the, oh, two, and then a whole bunch were going to fly out. It's just maybe one at a time, please, Spirit. Oh, got a little attitude out here. Okay, I like it. Sometimes we need to take that on in order to, we've got two more. In order to empower ourselves, sometimes we really do need to take on certain energies, right? And it's okay. All right, so the first card that we have is, and this is a repeat from yesterday, I am such a beautiful, kind, and unique person. I am grateful that I am alive. So I'll slow that down for you. I am such a beautiful, kind, and unique person. I am grateful that I am alive. Sorry, I'm just going to move my desk here for a second, move the blanket from underneath it. It's getting too wrinkly for my cards. Okay. That's from me getting up and down off my bed constantly. Let's get this to focus. Okay. All right, so get your sass on. Get that attitude in you. You might want to stand up for this one, okay? I don't care how people perceive me. That's not my problem. It's theirs. So it looks like some of you may need to adopt this feeling in you right now, this self-empowered feeling, right? And it's not a bad thing. You might need this energy to get you through whatever it is you're going through right now. So I don't care how people perceive me. That's not my problem. It's theirs. And it's true because all of your problems are your own to deal with. They're not other people's problems. All of your emotions are yours. All of your feelings, all of your thoughts, those are all yours. They're not for somebody else to take care of, and vice versa, right? All right. The third one is it is safe to feel joy. It is safe to feel joy. And it is. Maybe you're feeling happy after closing the door to some situations in your life. And that's allowed. You're allowed, right? You're allowed to feel happy. I am always in a divinely surrendered state so that I am always receiving my manifestations. So I'll slow that down. I am always in a divinely surrendered state so that I am always receiving my manifestations. Hmm. Some good energy. Okay. Let's get into our money magic manifestation cards here. Okay, Spirit, what does the collective need to hear most for Friday, January the 24th? What affirmations of success and abundance and money will help support the collective most today for January 24th? Thank you. Which affirmations can the collective utilize most for manifesting their wealth and abundance? Please and thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Okay. All right. So the first one is I am grateful for every day for the money blessings in my life, which is important. Even if you have 10 cents to your name, be grateful for it. Be grateful for any little amount of money and money inflow that you have right now. Show gratitude to the universe for that every day. That's how we build our abundance, right? Being grateful for what we already have in our lives. It is safe for me to succeed in my goals, and it is my time to shine divine. Love it. Okay. Oh, it did not work this time. Okay. One moment. Just a moment. Okay. Okay. So beautiful. Just like you. Or handsome. I mean, if you're masculine energy, you can be beautiful too. But you probably want to hear that you are handsome. So you're handsome too. Okay, so let's actually before we move on to that deck, let's get a cosmic message, spirit, for the fuzzies everywhere. They're everywhere. Oh no. They literally are everywhere every time I move. Okay, let's little distracted. Let's get a message, a cosmic message for the collective, please. Whoa, for Friday. Okay, we've got two cards. Hmm, okay. Hmm, yeah. Goosebumps. Okay, so the first one is never forget how resilient you are. You always bounce back, right? And we've been talking about this on this channel a little bit here and there. Actually, Spirit has been bringing it through in these readings for you. So I am seeing that many of you have made some choices recently here, and maybe you're feeling a little bit disempowered at this moment, but empowered, like swaying in between those thoughts. So it could be just two different streams of consciousness here in the collective. Some of you are needing to empower yourself, right, by adopting this attitude of not caring how people perceive you. It's really not your responsibility, right, to take that on. Um, and for some of you, you may just need to be reminded that you are resilient. That's why you were in that situation. And this is part of the lesson of what this situation is teaching you is how to be resilient, right? Just how, actually, not even how to be resilient. It's a reminder of how resilient you always were. You just didn't recognize it. How strong you always were, you just didn't see it in yourself because you were still believing everything that you were being told by everyone else in your environment, right? Or perhaps by the conditions that you are currently existing in. So you are resilient, and they want you to know you are going to bounce back from this because you always do. Don't forget that. Just if you forget, look back at all the other things you've been through and see how you got yourself out of those situations and how you always bounce back. But this time around, you're going to bounce back in a whole new way because now you're awake, baby. Now you're awake. Now you're going to become empowered. Might take time, but that is okay because when you come back, you'll come back so much bigger and better than you ever have in the past. Okay? Now, this is the second card. You must forgive if you want to be, or you, yeah, you must forgive if you want to be free. Do it for yourself. Okay. So, I have taught on this channel a few things about forgiveness. Okay. And now I even have a forgiveness exercise and video about that. If you're interested, you can look for that on my channel in my videos. However, the biggest lesson to take away from forgiveness is that we don't forgive others for them. Okay? We forgive others for ourselves because we don't want to carry those burdens of hate, anger, and resentment. If we carry these burdens for the rest of our lives, then we cannot achieve what our soul desires for us to achieve in this lifetime. And in fact, what happens then is that we often carry this through into other lifetimes. So it's really important for you to remember that whatever it is that you're carrying on your heart as a burden that's weighing you down, yes, Take time to process it. If you've just gotten out of a situation, a dynamic, or a relationship that caused you immense pain, you can't necessarily work through that in a day. Okay, so don't hold unrealistic expectations. Take the time that you feel you need in order to fully process it, forgive yourself, and that means all of the past versions of you that put you in situations where you were victimized or felt victimized. Forgive all the past versions of you that didn't know better. Okay? Be compassionate with yourself. Love yourself through it. Whatever pain you're feeling that is causing you to misplace your anger, your resentment, your bitterness, whatever else is burdening your heart at this time, take time to work through it and to feel it out and to process it. But be compassionate with yourself along the way because it does take time. And sometimes you have to repeat cycles with it, and that's okay. If you're not ready to fully let it go, then you're not fully ready to let it go. But I think what Spirit is really asking you to do is along this path to in the forgive the past versions of yourself in the moments that you can. In the moments that these feelings arise within you, don't try to suppress them. Don't feel guilt and shame for being a human, because we're all human and we all have all these ranges of emotions. But you're going through stages of grief, and that's absolutely okay and normal. What's important to remember at the end of the day is that you don't hold it against yourself for having an influx of different or difficult emotions. Okay? And the forgiveness process comes along with us in stages as well. And so when we forgive ourselves for being who we were, for our own toxic traits that put us in situations that we were in that were uncomfortable and painful, when we forgive ourselves for who we were and who we allowed into our lives through time, because time heals all, right? But we have to focus on healing, then we naturally find forgiveness for the people who played the roles in our lives that caused us that pain. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can let it all go in one day. For some of you, you may be at that point. Take it as it resonates. For some of you, I'm getting that you may be at that point where you are ready to let it go. For others of you, this is still so fresh that you are upset. And this is a natural part of the evolution of getting that anger, because that anger is not there to make you scared of it. Okay. That anger has been suppressed for a long time. And it's likely that you were in that situation because you weren't allowed to express your anger. You weren't allowed to express any kind of sign that you were dissatisfied or upset in any way. And so you've been suppressing it for a very long time. And that's going to come up and it's going to rear its perceived to be ugly head. But you know what? It's actually perfectly normal. And it's important for you to remember that just because you have anger doesn't mean that that's who you are as a person. You don't need to identify with it. You can feel it. You can let it come up. You can feel it. You can express it. You can write it. You can sing it. You can channel it into art. Those are healthier ways, right? Than to say it out loud towards that person. There are healthier ways of managing that anger, but it does need to come to the surface and be felt so that you're no longer suppressing it and you no longer have to be afraid of having those feelings because they are natural and it's a natural part of the healing journey to feel that anger because it's what fuels you into the next part of your own journey and transformation. You're going to need that fire in order to fuel your every step along this next phase of your journey. So don't suppress it, but do understand that, the divine and spirits, your ancestors, they want to see you happy. And the way towards that happiness is to learn to forgive yourself. If you're going to forgive anybody, I mean, you can work on forgiving the other people too, but first we have to forgive ourselves. You can work on healing ancestral lines, forgiving your mother, forgiving your father for teaching you these things, right? But ultimately, the best thing you can do is to start forgiving yourself and integrating those aspects of you that you left in the past, that you abandoned in the past, because your family dynamics taught you that it wasn't safe to express those parts of yourself, to be vulnerable in those areas of your life. So those younger parts of yourself are just wanting to be seen and heard and have the ability to be expressive in those feelings without condemnation. And so that's really important to remember that if you are feeling these feelings of anger or resentment or bitterness, that your wounded inner child never got to feel that. So do your best not to suppress them and let it out in whatever way that you find fitting and suitable for you. Now, I don't mean like cut out a picture and put it on a punching bag of that person and because that's misdirecting anger, and that ripples back to us. So now, doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect and that you won't make mistakes. No, doesn't mean that at all. You're human. We all make mistakes. I've made mistakes. I've done that. I've had to pay for those consequences. That was my lesson to learn, right? That's everybody's lesson to learn, but that's the whole point, is that you learn these things, that it's not healthy to redirect your pain towards somebody else. That we take responsibility for our own pain, and we learn how to be accountable for creating change within ourselves, which means, you know, gathering up all of those emotions, no matter what they are, and saying, okay, that was me. That wasn't the best way to manage my emotions. And so now I'm going to do it maybe by writing, maybe by journaling, maybe by moving my body, maybe by doing some somatic release exercises, maybe by tapping, right? Uh, there's lots of different things you can do to channel that. Maybe it's by singing or writing a song, or maybe creating some sort of piece of art, right? Many different ways. All right. So, spirit guides and ancestors. What? Oh, that was fast. It just flipped over immediately. Okay. So the card that we have here is: make it your mission to accept all parts of you, the good and what you perceive to be your imperfections. Don't look for any outside validation. It's already within you. Once you realize your true beauty and potential, you will never doubt yourself again. Yes, okay. So, as always, touches base on what I was already channeling for you. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how else to express this, but the whole way in which we become our authentic selves is to actually accept all aspects of ourselves, and that is our darkness, our shadow, our pain, our experiences, right? Our past. We have to accept them. But we don't just have to accept what happened to us, but we have to accept who we've been to, how we showed up in the world. And sometimes that's harder to accept the truth of who we were, because it's so much easier to look at everybody else as the problem and everybody else and how they showed up and what they did to us and how they contributed to our pain, right? And to our experience. But how did we show up in the world that attracted these people? How were we showing up that created dynamics that, you know, continue to be toxic? How did we show up that allowed us or made excuses for us to stay in environments that sometimes we knew were harmful or hurtful? Or how did we show up in toxic ways that we actually did things to ourselves or our body that were self-destructive, that were self-harming? Accepting ourselves and all parts of ourselves means every everything that we've done and being totally honest with the divine, totally honest with source about what it is that we have done, admitting that honestly. Because when we admit who we have been, then we can learn the lessons of why the people were there to begin with in our lives, right? And when we're totally honest with source, then that is when source steps in and says, okay, I think you're ready for the next step. You know, we incorporate our brutal honesty and look at ourselves alongside of what we've experienced and compassion and self-forgiveness so that we can step into the different possibilities that await us on the other side of that, right? And so sometimes we're just being called to love ourselves through these situations, love our imperfections, love our humanness, love our range of emotions that we feel and the processes that we are being guided to go through. And just accept that that is a part of the human experience. Accept our shadows so that we can integrate it into us. Because when we do so, once we accept our shadow side, and we've really dug deep into our shadow of who we have suppressed. And we reunify that with ourselves, then nothing can hurt us unless we give our power away to it and we allow it to again. But chances are, if you've just been through a whole lot of pain and trauma and you've woken up to it and you've realized that you were in that you participated in it, and who you were in it, then you're unlikely to go back to it. Once you've gotten out of it, you're pretty unlikely, if you're hip to the game, that you're going to allow somebody to backslide into your life again and try and manipulate you or try and gaslight you or try and trick you. No, you're becoming more perceptive. You're becoming more aware of who was in your environment to begin with. You're becoming more aware of yourself. You're accepting your shadow. And when you do that, that's when you really become completely unshakable, unbreakable. You're being honest with yourself. That is not just self acceptance, but this is self awareness, right? And yeah, again, this it talks about beauty and potential twice here. Um, you know, it brings you closer to your authentic self. And that's the name of the game, is getting to who you truly are at a core level and realizing that your uniqueness, your unique signature, your unique energy, your unique gifts, abilities, talents, all of those things, they're what make you beautiful. And I will reiterate this that I've said in previous messages that these people who were in your life, they saw your talents, gifts, they saw your light, they saw your potential, and that scared them, which is why they needed to suppress you. That is why they had to attack you. That's why they had to make you feel less than them, less than worthy of love, less than worthy of even being seen or validated or heard. They saw your light and they were intimidated by it and jealous and envious. That's why they went after you. And likely that's why you've experienced that your whole life. So now it's for you to recognize that light within yourself and know just how beautiful and how unique you truly are. And step onto that temple path fully. It looks like you've made the decision. You've made the decision to cut out the people that, and things that were no longer serving you so you can get on your best path and start moving forward through one of these doors of opportunity because they're opening up for you now. Now that you've made a choice, a conscious choice, does not mean you don't have work to do on self, especially because you're dealing with a lot of things that are going to come up, emotions, right? But if you're patient with yourself and you love yourself through it and forgive yourself through it, even in the moments that you do lose control, remember that you're human and you're not alone. We've all gone through this together. We go through it together, and others of us have gone through it before you. There are people who have gone through it before me, and so on and so on. And there will be people after you who you may be helping later on, right? So, as a collective, there's always somebody to reach out for support. There's always somebody who has been through something similar who can guide you through it. And Spirit's just wanting you to know that, like, yeah, you should be happy. You may not feel that way, but you should feel a sense of pride for getting to this point that you are now. And maybe looking back at how far you've come from when you started your journey will help. Or how far you've come in the last 14 years will help. Reflecting on how far you've come in your life helps you to center yourself in reality and go, oh, okay, yeah, I do have something to celebrate, even when it feels like I don't. I do have something to be happy about and to pat myself on the back about, even if I don't have support from the outside world. I have support here. I have support all around me. My guides, my ancestors, my spirit team, the angels, Source, Gaia, they're all here. They all love me and they want to see me succeed and be happy. And that's enough right now. And you have us. Don't forget that. All right. What is, oh, so fast. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not too surprised. This card's been coming out a lot. It's dance. Okay, let's just zoom in, camera. Okie dokie. No, no, no. Should not zoom in. No, not today. Okay, well, you can see the picture at least. She's dancing. Okay. So every time I get this card now, I pardon me. I take it as movement, right? So get your body moving. Get your body moving. So ecstatic dance, because I see there's a lot of emotions here, a lot of residual feelings, probably a lot of stored experiences, possibly trauma, emotions that needs to get moving. It's all energy within your body, and it needs to get energy or it needs to get moving so that the energy can then move around and be released from your body. Some things that can help with that, yeah, are somatic healing, um, just dancing, going for a run, doing some exercise. Um, what else? Yeah, even just going for a simple walk, getting outside, connecting with nature. Um, you know, depending on where you live, it could be winter where you live. So maybe you don't really want to be outside. If that's the case, then do something inside that you can do. Put on something on YouTube and get moving your body. Yoga can help. Anything that is just moving your body and moving energy. You could even just make something up and move, like imagine that you're moving the energy out of your body, clearing it from your heart down, from your heart up, from your heart out. Just move it. Get it out of your body. Okay? Yeah. And that does make sense given what we have here. Now, it is your time. You've done a lot. You've made some pretty impactful decisions in your life. It is your time to shine divine, my friends. And the divine is supporting you on your journey every step of the way. Even in the moments where we feel lost, broken, alone, the divine is here with you at all times. And it is safe for you to now succeed in your goals. You've cleared the path. And they want you to remember that now it's up to you to remember that it is safe for you. You've eliminated a lot of the people, places, or situations from your life that were causing you the most harm. And now you have the opportunity going forward to get yourself in a place, whether that is in your own physical place, like a house, a place, or environment that is going to be supportive of you, that is going to allow you to find that sense of peace. It's going to allow you to grieve and express your emotions in the way that you need to. And it's going to allow you the opportunity to come back to yourself and go through the process of healing that grief and letting it go and forgiving yourself and shedding the past versions of yourself. So that is where I feel called to end the session here. I love you all so much. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. We are growing this beautiful community of life here, and I love to welcome each and every one of my members. So feel free. For those of you returning, please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If it resonated with you, let me know in the comments, or otherwise just give a thumbs up. It's up to you. Thank you so much for being here today. I will see you all on the next video, and until then, take care.